Well, the pandemic silenced China's most important holiday in Beijing and across the globe. But with the health crisis raging on, how do we keep traditions alive? Let's find out from Mea Ang Si, Managing Director of Bahay Chinoy. Mea, thank you so much for joining us. Kung hei fa choi, gong shi fa chai.
Hello, Kyung Hee Wat Chai. That's how we say it in Hokkien.
Yes.
Because 90% of us are from the Fujian province.
So,
Kong Hei Fat Choi is Cantonese.
yes, that's right. Those are the three versions, right? Cantonese, Hokkien, and Mandarin. So, Mea, tell us, what are some of the most important Chinese-Filipino traditions during the Lunar New Year holidays?
Some of the more important ones for Chinese Filipinos are actually things that the public does not see. No, for example, Chinese New Year is the time for ancestor veneration, where you pray for your ancestors, not pray to, but pray for your ancestors. You light incense, and this includes your ancestors within the clan, not just your immediate family. This is usually done at the temple or in a clan hall. This time, because of the pandemic, clan halls are closed. There's usually one or two people there to light incense on your behalf, and it's now online. So they do ancestor veneration online, Zoom version, right? So in the same way as Christians go to online masses, then the temples are also holding online services as well. Within the family, it's now normally like Christmas, families really come together as an entire clan. So if there are 100 of you, or if there are 50 of you, you all gather in one house and you go in and out the entire day eating. But now, no, you just stay with your most immediate family. You keep it close. You send food to each other via Lalamove or Grab, but it's so hard, like myself and my parent and my mom and my brother, we were just on Zoom because
That's right.
we can't meet. My mother is a senior. I go out a lot, so I don't see her.
Yes.
And so we just meet each other online.
Yeah,
And these are the changes.
yeah, these are the changes. This is the new normal, no, for the Lunar New Year holidays. And of course,
Binondo
Mea,
was very quiet.
yes, and Chinese-Philippine relations have a long history, Mea, dating back centuries, even before Spanish rule. What you just shared with us are basically Chinese-Filipino traditions during the Chinese New Year holidays. Any similarities or differences with how it's being celebrated in China?
Even if I guess with the pandemic, it's all pretty much online, right? But even if it's not the pandemic, the changes, the evolution of traditions here in the Philippines is very, very far removed from how it changed in China. Remember, we were cut off for 35 years.
Yes.
25 years. China closed its doors in 1949. We reestablished diplomatic relations in 75. So for 25 years, things evolved here that never happens in China anyway, right? Like for example, tikoy. We are so all over tikoy here in the Philippines. They're not in China.
So that is a unique
The tikoy there,
that
you
is a
buy
unique
for yourself.
Chinese-Filipino tradition, tikoy.
The tikoy, parang in China, you buy a box for your own family, for your own consumption. But here, you buy an entire case of tikoy and give it to everyone you know.
Okay.
Right? That our celebration, our love for tikoy over, I guess, surpasses that of those in China. So these are little things that are very different, little things that come from a similar tradition but have evolved differently because our country and our culture is quite different as well. So Chinese-Filipino culture has a lot of Filipino elements in it that you can't see in other Southeast Asian Chinese communities or even in China mainland.
So Mea, this is the year of the metal ox. how significant is the Year of the Metal Ox for the Chinese-Filipino community?
I guess it's very significant. I'm sorry, but I'm not so well versed in feng shui or in all of these very, very Chinese traditions. We greet each other, so we practice some of the traditions that were handed down to us from our grandparents. But people of my generation and below, a lot of us are not very familiar anymore why those traditions are being done. Like for myself, I don't practice all of them, and I know these traditions only from an academic perspective because I study them, because I talk about it. But it's not a personal practice for me. And a lot of my generation and below are the same way.
You know, Maya, Binondo, Manila is the oldest Chinatown in the world. How does it feel? All activities for the celebration of the Chinese New Year have been canceled.
It's very different. It's very different because it used to be so lively and so crowded. But I'm also happy that they were canceled because COVID, right? Can you imagine what would have happened if they allowed the celebrations to the crowds to continue in Binondo? So I was listening to a vaccine expert the other night. There was a spike after the Christmas rush, the spike of cases after the Christmas rush. And within the community, we were also talking about it. What would happen if we allow the celebrations to continue? We're going to be contributory to a spike in cases, and we did not really, many of the Chinese community members really did not want that to happen.
And you know, through the centuries, Maya, the Chinese-Philippine relationship blossomed when Chinese traders moved to the Philippines and established homes, businesses, and families here. And today, these enterprises are some of the most successful in the country.
Yes, they are. Many of them, though, especially some of the biggest ones, all began after the war. No, so when everything was flattened and everybody started from zero, and the war was really a great equalizer, I guess, that everyone was starting from scratch, from zero, from the bottom of the barrel, so to speak, and then you just climb your way up, work your way up. And the opportunities were endless because everyone was were in the same boat. So some of the biggest establishments that we're very familiar with, especially the Taipans, they all started post-war.
All right. They are self-made individuals and self-made families. Thank you so much for sharing with us the views of the Chinese-Filipino community during the Lunar New Year. Thank you so much for joining us, Maya Angsi of Bahay Chinoy.